Conor McGregor came out last night and said, Dustin Poirier, me and you, charity event, MMA, exhibition, nothing to do with the UFC. Are you in? Dustin Poirier said, yeah, I'm in. Cool, it's been agreed on Twitter, not been finalized, not been confirmed, but there's something there. And it's a lot more to it than what it seems. This is a big checkmate move by Conor McGregor. Now, this has been brewing a bit. For the last few weeks, it's been brewing a bit between tensions between Dana, the UFC, and Conor McGregor. Now, where did this start? Okay, so obviously, Habib beat Conor McGregor in 2018. Conor didn't fight until 2020. He came back in UFC 246, knocked out Cerrone in 40 seconds, beautiful finish. He was supposed to fight Justin. I don't know why he didn't fight Justin then, but because Justin just knocked out Cowboy, so he should have really fought Justin instead of Cowboy. But he wanted to fight Justin after that. He said, look, Justin in May. Now, Justin was ready to fight him in May. But what happened was Habib pulled out the Tony fight. So Justin jumped in short notice. He beat Tony, got the interim belt. Now he's the interim champion. Cool. Conor said, okay, I'll fight you in July. Your interim belt versus me. I'll take your interim belt. Then I'll fight Habib for the unified title later on in the year. Justin said, no, I've been waiting for you all this time. In January, you had the opportunity to pick me, but you picked Cowboy. I'm going to fight Habib for the legacy, not for you. You can sit out and wait. I'm going to fight you later. I'm going to defend my belt I'm going to defend my interim belt against Habib, unify the belts, beat Habib, become champion, then I'll fight you and get even more money, I'll do it by my terms. So Conor said, okay, you know what, I'm not getting a fight. The UFC's not giving him a fight. Dana's not giving him a fight. Dana wants, because of the Corona thing came in, Dana wants to the fans to be there when Conor fights. So he's trying to hold him off for as long as possible. So Conor wants to fight, but it's not in his power. It's like the UFC's telling him you can't fight, and he doesn't like that. Conor wants to be in charge all the time. So Conor, what did he say? I'm retired again. How many times he said it? But this time he goes, I'm retired again on Twitter. No one believes him. But he says it, I'm retired, and it's a move. He's doing it to make sure that he's not fighting on his own terms. Even though he has no choice, the UFC has the choice. He's saying, I'm retired, so it looks like he's the one that's not active, and it's his choice, even though it's not. Cool. Recently, all he's been doing, 2020, just tweeting and deleting. He's tweeting against Poirier, he's tweeting against Habib, Tony, about everything. He's just been tweeting and deleting stuff. And he recently has said last week, I'm going to fight Manny Pacquiao in winter, boxing, in the Middle East. And obviously Ali Abdelaziz has come out keyboard spamming, saying, look, I know the Saudis, they're saying that you're lying, this is not true. They said you have 3 hours to remove the story, and the funny thing is Conor did remove it in under 3 hours. So but yeah, whatever Ali's saying, whatever Conor's saying, none of that's been confirmed, but it's a possibility he could be fighting Manny Pacquiao and Conor under the same management. Anyways, that's where Conor is right now. So he wants to fight. It's known, but he's under the retirement thing because he can't get a fight. Then you got Dustin. Obviously, he's in. Conor's in. He's got some allegations. What's going on with him? In France, which I don't believe. He's got these other problems, and he's training for like a marathon or something with like some princess, Monaco or something. But where's Dustin Poirier at? Obviously, he lost against Habib 2019, dominant loss, worse than Conor's loss. He came back and fought Dan Hooker in June. Destroyed him. It was 3 rounds to 2. It was a war, but it was clearly the last 3 rounds were clearly Dustin, so he definitely won. It wasn't. I wouldn't say destroyed. That's a bad word to say, but he clearly won the fight. So he came back strong. Dustin wants one more after that, and then he gets a title shot. He doesn't deserve a title shot straight after Hooker because he just lost one to Habib. So he's like, okay, let me find another one against Tony. Tony makes sense. So Tony versus Dustin, 3-rounder. On the co-main, or the fight just before the co-main, UFC 254 under Habib versus Justin. Makes sense. Dana says, yeah, this is the one. If Justin pulls out, we get Tony versus Habib as a replacement. And if Habib pulls out, we get Dustin versus Justin, the rematch for the title, for the interim belt. Not for the title, for the interim belt. Because Dustin's already beaten Justin before. So if the rematch, he's ready for the replacement. So Dana said, these two are the replacement fighters. But no, Dustin says, look, I deserve more. I've been going through these wars. I need more money. Dana says, look, this guy doesn't want to fight, even though he just doesn't want to pay him. He said, this guy doesn't want to fight. When does Dustin Poirier not want to fight? He always wants to fight. So everyone knows this is rubbish. And why would he not want to fight Tony one more? Tony coming off Justin lost. Dustin's like, okay, you know what? You think I can beat him? Dustin's not scared of anyone. He never ducks anyone. Anyways, so Dustin wants more. Dana's like, forget that. You're not fighting. Cool. Tony, enter Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler, former Bellator champion, beat Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez obviously got beaten by Conor McGregor for the lightweight belt. So he was the lightweight champion before. Dustin Poirier has beat Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez also beaten Justin Gaethje, who's the interim champion and could be the champion soon. So enter Michael Chandler. He's a free agent now. Dana said, look, come in. you can fight Tony, 3-rounder, and one of you can be the replacement fighter for Khabib versus Justin if any pulls out. Tony goes, look, nah, I'm going to be loyal to Poirier, and I'm going to I'll pay the man. He even he pinned the tweet. He said, pay the man, and I want to fight him. Let's get this done. So Dana's like, you know what? Screw you too. Let me ask for Poirier versus Chandler. Let's see what happens there. Poirier versus Chandler. Poirier goes, no, I want more money, and Tony was loyal to me. I want to be loyal to Tony. Forget that. So Dana's like, both of you, get out of here. Chandler, you're the main backup. Whoever falls out, Justin or Khabib falls out, you're the main backup. So they both got screwed over there. Now, that's a good thing, to be honest. I think it's a good thing, because Tony versus Poirier in a 3-rounder is not what it needs. We need Tony versus Poirier in a 5-rounder, a main event 5-rounder. You know, Tony thrives in 5-rounders. In a 3-rounder, I would most likely 90% chance I'd give that to Poirier, yeah, to win that. 5-round is much different though, yeah. We need Tony versus Poirier in a 5-round. It doesn't deserve any less. Yeah, that's what I need. So that is good in the end of the day that didn't happen. I wish that didn't happen. Although I do wish, you know, Dustin's paid. Anyways, so now they got Chandler in there. So right now, Tony, Hooker, Conor and Dustin are just sitting down doing nothing. Yeah, they're just stuck. Okay. A couple of days ago now, Conor comes out on his DMs and he exposes his DMs on Twitter with Dana. He's like, okay, look, it shows that he wanted to fight Justin after the Cowboy fight. He wanted to fight Diego Sanchez in Dublin in August. And people are saying, why do you want to fight Diego Sanchez? The guy just lost his, you know, obviously he's lost a couple of days after that. He lost his fight, 38 years old. He's a washed up old guy. You're coming from Khabib to Cowboy, which is not the best, rather than Justin. You duck Justin. But fair enough, we wanted to see Conor active. He came back against Cowboy. We don't care. He's active. That's what we want to see. We want to see him active. We don't care who he's fighting. He beat Cowboy beautifully. We don't care. Now he's trying to fight even lower. Diego Sanchez. Come on. So he doesn't look very good in that. And then Dana comes out saying, look, this guy did one of the dirtiest things ever. He broke the man code. You don't reveal DMs. And he looks right in that. You know, even Conor, a lot of Conor's fans in the tweets are saying, you broke the code. You shouldn't have done that. So Conor looks really crappy right now. He wants to fight a lower opponent, and he's just tweeting and deleting, and now he's broken the code by releasing DMs with Dana, which doesn't look good. So Conor comes back and retorts saying, Dana, you broke the code first. You said I didn't want to fight in May, which I did want to fight, and you're saying you're not involved in the money thing. You're involved in the Manny Pacquiao agreements. You said there's legal papers that show you are, and I believe him there, because Conor was involved in the Floyd thing, the Floyd versus Conor, and Conor's contracted by the UFC, so obviously, you know, Dana's gonna not allow him to just go and box without getting a piece of it. You know, he got a lot of money from the Conor versus Floyd, so why wouldn't he get a lot of money from this one? But Conor does look really crappy in this though. You know, he's coming from Diego Sanchez. Even Dan Hardy's calling him out. Dan Hardy's been out for so long. He's like, okay, I think I can beat this guy. You know, but how can Conor fix this? So what Conor does is, so DC and Helwani was on Monday, and DC said, I think Conor said he wants to fight anyone. I don't believe him, because if he did, he would have been replacement for Khabib versus Tony instead of Justin. You know, he would have jumped in for Khabib versus Tony. And Helwani goes, no, look, you're wrong. Conor is not a replacement fighter. He's the star. Like, Canelo wouldn't jump in, Triple G, DC wouldn't jump in against Shawn Oates for Jones. It's not going to happen, you know. And he's right about that. So Conor's not a replacement fighter. Conor comes out saying, look, DC, you fat fool. That's what he said. He said, you fat fool. Look, you're wrong. All this, blah, blah, blah. I want to fight. The media's like getting this wrong. It's twisted and all that, blah, blah, blah. So he says all that. And Conor and Dustin comes out saying, writing Conor with a question mark, replying to that tweet that Conor was throwing at DC. Randomly, all of a sudden, that's where Conor drops his checkmate move. He goes, let's see what he says. Hey, bro, you want to do an MMA charity fight? Zero to do with the UFC. I will donate $500,000 towards your charity. Sell it on pay-per-view or work a TV deal, and we work out other charities that are close to my heart also. I'm engaged in many, strictly a charity, in apostrophes, exhibition. Yeah. Then he goes and says, what did he say after that? December 12th, in the Point Depot Island. No weigh-ins, open weight, unified. I will arrange all travel fare for you and your family. McGregor Sports and Entertainment, MMA, in association with the Good Foundation. That's Dustin Poirier's charity. Charity Mixed Martial Arts with a exclamation mark. Diamond goes, I'm in, let's do it. A lot of people will benefit from this. Let's go. Circle your calendars. Conor McGregor goes, excellent. We should take you offline and progress the process from here. Good man, Dustin. I respect your philanthropic efforts greatly, as well as how you conducted yourself post our first fight. You have my respect, because obviously, you know, Dustin got knocked out by Conor in 90 seconds the first time. But obviously Dustin's interested in the charity. You know, he's got Good Foundation. He actually cares about the charity. And of course, he cares about the lot of money, the lot of money he's going to get from the Conor fight. But Conor's main objective is obviously not the charity. This is a move by Conor to force the UFC's hand. Now, what he's done by this, he said McGregor Sports and Entertainment, and he said it's zero to do with the UFC. By saying that, he's making a direct threat to the UFC that it's nothing to do with the UFC, and I'm gonna, I'm challenging you lot because of what you're saying to me, what Dana's saying, and you're not giving me fights. Then he said December 12th. Now, what day is December 12th? UFC 256, Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns for the welterweight title. That's a big pay-per-view, And he's saying on that date, nothing to do with the UFC, and he said pay-per-view. And if it's a pay-per-view, who's going to pay for Usman and Gilbert Burns and Conor on the same night? Not a lot of people. And they're going to have to pick. Are you going to pick Conor versus Dustin? Or are you going to pick Usman versus Burns? Now, if you remember, first of all, Usman's not as popular as Conor anyway. Nowhere near. Usman's got like 2 million Instagram followers. Conor's got like nearly 40 million. The difference is big, innit? And if you look at that last fight, Usman versus Masvidal, he got a lot of crap for that fight. The way how boring he fought and all that. Conor's a knockout specialist. He's popular. People have been waiting for him to come back. And if you look at his last fight, 40 seconds against Cowboy, people are going to pick Conor's fight, and that's going to make the UFC embarrassed. They're going to look really bad. Dana's look like an idiot. It's going to look bad, if that happens. I don't think it's going to fight. I don't think Conor versus Dustin exhibition is going to happen because the UFC just won't let it. They're just going to find a way to pacify Conor McGregor and Dustin. But if that does happen, they're screwed. So they know that. So this is Conor forcing their hand. Yeah. He also said strictly a charity exhibition. So obviously it's not going on their records. And if Dana says no to this, he looks bad. Dana, it's a charity match. According to Conor McGregor, it's a charity match. Now, if it's charity and Dana says no, he looks bad because he's stopping this charity match from happening, for the charities, for the poor and the needy. Yeah. So Dana doesn't look good if he stops that. Yeah. Now, Dustin obviously interested in the charity and is interested in the money as well. Dana can either let this happen and get screwed over and look very bad, or he can sit down with Conor and negotiate. If he negotiates a good deal with Conor, like you get a straight title shot. You fight the winner of Justin and Habib, or you fight Masvidal and Diaz, and then you fight the title shot after, or either way, yeah. And he gets a deal he's happy with a lot of money, yeah. Then and they settle it, and Dana apologizes to him. He's probably his pride's hurt a bit. Then Conor might say, yeah, cool, because I don't think Conor wants to fight Dustin exhibition. It's just a move, yeah. That would be alright, but if he goes off and does the exhibition with Poirier and then he goes and fights Manny and boxing and stuff, he can retire. He's rich. He can do what he wants. He's going to embarrass the UFC. He's going to go off in the sunset. He's got his whiskey business, his clothing business. He's got his boxing fights. He gets probably paid hundreds of thousands just to give a speech somewhere, Now, Poirier accepted this on Twitter, and that's where it comes in wrong. Obviously, Masvidal retweeted and he said, look, I'm going to be happily donating on December 12th. And obviously, Masvidal just fought Usman, and that's at Usman's next fight. So he's making a point that, look, I'm going to be watching your fight and on that date. And he's his teammate. Dustin Poirier and Masvidal are teammates, and Masvidal has previous negotiations with Usman. They were going wrong, and he pulled out the fight. He said, I'm not getting paid enough. Gilbert Burns jumped in, got COVID. Masvidal came in as a hero in the last week, and there was 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, and he looked like the hero. He saved the day, and his next fight's against Colby probably, or Diaz. So he's a win-win situation anyway. So he's looking good. So he's just on the side jibing at the UFC with that retweet. But for Poirier, it's not good. For Conor, it's good. For Masvidal, it's good. For Poirier, this is not good. It could be good or it could be bad. Now, if Poirier and Conor have the exhibition match, he's going to earn a lot of money, and he could retire after that, But I don't see him retiring after that. I see him wanting the belt. The belt means a lot to Poirier, and he wants that belt very much. Yeah, and obviously we don't think this fight's going to happen, but this is the thought process that has to go through Dana and what happens if Poirier is taking this risk. Now, if he does fight Conor in this exhibition match, and then he comes back to the UFC for his contract and fights, Dana's going to be annoyed with him. He just pissed off Dana. Dana's going to obviously, we know Dustin wants one more fight and then a title shot. Now, that title shot could go a few years down the line now. Now it could be delayed longer than he expected, Dana could put Hooker first, he could put Tony first, he could put Justin, Habib, and maybe even Oliveira, there's so many guys. Chandler, of course, he can put all these guys in title shots, like, before even Dustin touches it. He can just make it really hard for him, making negotiations hard for him, just really make him suffer for, doing that to the UFC, because the UFC, they like their stars, but at the end of the day, they look at everyone as cogs in the machine. They piss on you, just like the evidence is there with Conor right now. Conor was their superstar. He was Dana's son, but look what they're doing now. And it's sad what they do to the fighters, but that's what they're doing, And respect to Conor for standing up like this, and what Masvidal did earlier as well. Now, Of course, if Conor retires, he's fine. But Poirier, if he stays in there, he could be screwed. Yeah. Dana, though, he could get a good deal going. If Dana gets a good deal going and says, okay, Dustin and Conor, look, I'm going to get you good deals. You can fight Diaz, you can fight Masvidal, you can get a title shot, and just breaks it down with them, gives them good negotiations, good payments. Then Conor's helped Dustin, and Dustin's in a good position now, you know. Obviously, you know, Habib put Dustin in a good position earlier. He said, look, if you want a title shot, you got to beat Dustin. Conor or Tony has to beat Dustin. So by doing that, he got Dustin a lot of money from the Tony or the Conor fight, you know, and obviously that was good until Dana decided, I'm not going to pay you more. So that kind of screwed it. But now Conor's helping him a bit for his own benefit, but it's also helping Dustin as well on the side. Dustin's like, okay, cool. If Dustin gets a good deal now, he could fight Diaz, which is one we've been waiting for. It was announced, but it got cancelled, you know, and Dustin had to pull out for some reasons. He could fight Masvidal. He wouldn't fight Masvidal. That's his teammate. I forgot about that. I don't know why. He could fight Conor versus Diaz. Dustin rematch 6 years later, because remember they fought 6 years ago. 90 seconds. Dustin got knocked out by Conor. But 6 years now, he's in his prime. He's barely lost any fights. Dustin. You know, it's a big different fight. It's at 155. Dustin's chin's is stronger. He's not, you know, making a big weight cut to 145. Neither of them are. It's a different fight. You know. But it's a big fight. So it could be Conor versus Dustin, or Dustin versus Diaz, and Conor versus Masvidal, something big, you know. And then title shots. It's risky from Dustin, but for Conor, it's checkmate. He benefits either way. Dustin, he could do really good, or he could benefit momentarily with the exhibition and then get screwed over later. Either way, Dustin is not looking good in Dana's eyes, and neither is Conor. But Conor has money to fall back on, and he has other stuff to fall back on, you know. And he's had his championship bouts. Even though he wants the Khabib rematch, it's not the end of the world if he doesn't get it. With Dustin, it's the end of the world, you know. He wants his title shot so bad. This is what I think they should do. I think, okay, this is what I wrote down. It's a bit confusing. I think that you do, obviously, Khabib versus Dustin for the unify the belt on October 24th. Chandler is the backup. But put Tony on that card as well. 3-rounder. Tony's ready for it. Put him in that card. Get him to Abu Dhabi a couple weeks before. So if Chandler doesn't, if Khabib versus Justin, no one pulls out, Chandler versus Tony for the fight just before the co-main event, put that on there. I know it's been finalized, the main event, the card's been finalized, but you can always switch it. It's only 4 weeks left. You can still do it. You can still find a way to put him there. You know, Chandler's on the card. He's looking for an opponent. You can still put Chandler there. He's going to be there. Move one of those 6 fights from the main card down to the prelims or something. You know, Cynthia Calvillo or something like that. Move it down a bit. Yeah, so Habib versus Justin, Chandler versus Tony, and if you don't want to do it on the Habib versus Tony Justin card, put Chandler versus Tony in November on a fight night 5-rounder. That would be fun as well. Yeah, that would be 5 rounds would be better. Let Hooker chill out for a bit in that case. He's had a war in May with Dustin Poirier. Let him chill out. If someone does pull out of Habib versus Justin, obviously Chandler jumps in, but rematch Conor and Dustin, headliner, pay-per-view. Obviously, it has to be pay-per-view. It's Conor. He wouldn't accept no less as a headliner. UFC 255. It can't be 256 because it's Usman versus Burns. Can't be later because it's Masvidal, Kobe, whatever. It's too late as well. I think 255 in November. I think it's Figueiredo versus Garbrandt for the flyweight title. Yeah, just put them as the co-main and they'll be flattered. You know, they won't care if the title fight is on the co-main of Conor McGregor. They're going to get a lot of money from the pay-per-view. They don't care about that. They're flyweights. Yeah. So Conor versus Dustin, UFC 255, headliner, pay-per-view. Put that there. That's a good fight, yeah. And then if Conor wins that against Dustin, he gets a straight title shot. You know, he's Conor. He needs a star. He's a star. He deserves it. He doesn't deserve the shot, but everyone wants that fight. There's a lot of bad blood behind it. It's a big fight, you know. Just put Conor straight away, title shot with Habib or Justin if he wins the fight against Dustin. And that leaves Dustin to go and fight the winner of Tony versus Chandler. You know, and the loser of Tony versus Chandler gets to fight Hooker. Cool. Now, if Dustin beats Conor, which I don't think is going to happen, but if Dustin does beat Conor, he doesn't get a straight title shot. I don't think he does. I think because he just lost dominantly last year, I don't think he gets a straight title shot unless Justin beats Habib. If Justin beats Habib, then Dustin can get a straight title shot if he beats Conor. Dustin beats Conor, he gets a straight title shot against Justin because he's already beat Justin once 2 years ago in 2018. So, if he's already had a win over the champion, he has a good argument for a rematch. Yeah. So if Habib's still champion, if Habib beats Justin, then Dustin beats Conor, Dustin doesn't get a straight title shot. Dustin, because no one wants to see Dustin versus Habib right now. Dustin can what can happen is the winner of Tony Chandler gets the title shot then if Dustin beats Conor, and then Conor can fight the loser of Justin Habib. You know, if Conor loses to Dustin, he can fight another loser. He can fight loser of Justin Habib, which is still a big fight. and then get a title shot after that. It's a big mess at 155, and you've got guys like Oliveira, Felder, Ali Quinta, Dariush, Kevin Lee, all out, sitting out for different reasons, injuries, wanting more money, pulled out of fights, things like that. They're all sitting out, but once this Khabib versus Justin fight gets going along, and Conor's thing gets sorted with Dana, I think this division is gonna skyrocket. Once the Corona's gone, 2021, I think is gonna be a big year for the lightweight division. But yeah, that's it.